Daddy, why are your boobs bigger than Mummies? Can you talk about a bigger fucking gut punch than that? This is where I was. This is where I was at in life. The height of hypocrisy. Lachlan Farley, a personal trainer for 15 years. Owned my own personal training studio for 11. Been a collegiate athlete, helped hundreds upon hundreds of people transform their lives. And here I was, fat, uncomfortable, struggling, giving into every addiction, desire, impulse. The height of hypocrisy. I would tell people, no, we don't eat those foods. No, you shouldn't eat that. Here, you need to make better choices when it comes to what you eat and what you put in your mouth. And then turn around and go home and, smash a large pizza and tub of ice cream and a bit of wine, a bit of whiskey. I was disgusted with myself. Every time I walked past the mirror, I would catch a glimpse and I'd be like, fuck. Who have you become? I would cover it all up. I would constantly wear hoodies and track pants and stuff so that I wouldn't see the man that I had become. I wouldn't have to glimpse who I'd let myself become. And yet, with all that shame, with all that frustration, with all that self-loathing, and the knowledge on how to change my life, the knowledge of what was required, I couldn't get it done. I couldn't make the change. I had so many false starts. Like I'd start and I'd do all right for a week or two, and then I'd convince myself that it'd be okay to, have some lollies, have an ice cream, have a whiskey, have a pizza. Like just one won't hurt. And then my perfectionism would kick in and I'd be like, well, you fucked it now. Might as well just go all in on that now. Just fucking throw in the towel until next week and start all over. And it would just backslide and backslide and backslide. And I fucking hated myself. I was so ashamed. I was so disgusted with myself on this whole process. And yet that wasn't enough to kick me out of it. And it wasn't until, the shame of that coupled with looking into the eyes of my daughter, into the eyes of my son, and realizing how badly I was failing them, how badly I was letting them down. Nothing like the brutal honesty of a child. Daddy, why are your boobs as bigger than Mummies? Like, fuck me. Like, that's a gut punch and a half. And then she didn't mean anything by it. It wasn't rude, it wasn't anything, it was just child curiosity. It's like, why is that person fat? Why does that person walk funny? There's no malice behind it, it's just curiosity of the world. But it's through the eyes of a child that you can start to see your own hypocrisy. You can see the reflection of your life and the actions that you're taking when through the eyes of a child, because there is no filter, there is no excuses, there is nothing but this moment. And so I had to make a decision. I had to make a choice, and a harsher one, not just this, I really should get into shape because I'm being a hypocrite. It was, I am failing my family. I am failing my daughter. I am failing my son. I am failing my wife. I am failing my clients. I am failing those who depend on me. I have let them all down. And for what? To enjoy some junk food on my own in front of the TV? To have a few extra drinks or that pizza or, insert fucking vice here? For what? That didn't bring great joy. That doesn't bring great satisfaction. That doesn't improve my life by any stretch of the imagination. I don't gain anything from it. I don't improve by anything. And yet I couldn't break free of that cycle. So I had to get serious about it. I had to have that call to action moment, that shock and awe when you hit fucking rock bottom and go, shit, here I am again. And I've struggled with my weight for my entire life. Yes, I have dedicated my life to health and fitness because it fucking saved my life. Fitness was that thing that saved me, and has saved me over and over and over again. But being in shape, being fit, being strong and healthy isn't a natural place for me. It is not something that comes naturally to me. It is something that I work for. It is something that I earn. It is the choices that I make, and I do the right things and I make the right choices. But no, I am not naturally gifted in this process. So after that moment, after that eye-opening moment of how my daughter was seeing me, I had that. I was like, enough is enough. Because I'd been in shape before. I've done this before. I have been in good shape many times in my life through discipline, through effort, through focus, through consistency. As I said, it's my bread and butter. I transform people's lives for a fucking living, and have for nearly half my life now. But I couldn't do it for myself. And, I'd been in phenomenal shape. I'd reached the point at 30 and I was like, fuck, I don't want to be that fat dad. I don't want to be that overweight dad. I don't want to be that dad who can't play with his children. I don't want to be that fucking man who disappoints and breaks his princess's heart because he can't fucking climb on the equipment with her, or can't lift her up to do the things, or can't run around with her because I made poor choices. I didn't want to be that guy. So I pulled my shit together just after my 30th birthday and I got myself into great fucking shape, and I was probably in the best shape of my life at that point, and I was stoked with it. I was so proud of myself. And I was like, here we go. And then fucking life happened. And bit by bit by bit, those excuses creeped in. Bit by bit, I let myself go again. I let those old habits and vices sneak back in. And I think that's always the biggest trap. It's not like you just wake up one day and you've gone from great habits to suddenly, you're 30 kilos overweight. No, that's not how that shit happens. It's those little creeping things. You're like, oh, that's not too bad. Oh, that's not that big a deal. Oh, that's not such a great thing. They slowly encroach on you until they've stolen the things that you value in life. They encroach on your values and your beliefs and take away from the man you know that you should fucking be. And it's how they get you, because it isn't all at once. It's tiny little bits until all of a sudden you look back and you go, how the fuck did I get here? And that's how it happened. Life happened. I went from having someone run the gym for me to working 40 plus hours a week on the gym floor. I suddenly went from being really disciplined and focused and controlling it to being like, oh, a little bit here won't hurt, a little bit there won't hurt. And bit by bit by bit, it got away from me. And I woke up one day and I looked in the mirror and I was like, who the fuck is this man? Who is this man looking back at me? How did I get to this moment? And I was disgusted with myself. But that disgust wasn't enough to make me change. That disgust and shame and disappointment in how I'd let myself go wasn't enough to force my hand to make a different choice. It was the disappointment in my daughter's eyes and one of those moments when I couldn't do the things that she wanted me to do. And then it would cause that ripple effect of thinking, well, I'm setting the example for my children. I don't want them to struggle with their weight and their health like I have, like I've spent my entire life struggling with. I don't want them to be that person. I want them to grow up with a clear role model of what discipline and focus and fortitude and grit and determination looks like. So I had to make that change. And it was fucking horrendous. It hurt so much. Because I could lie to myself on it. I could very comfortably lie to myself on it. Because I was still fit. I still lifted weights regularly. I still worked out. I still did those things. I could lie to myself that it wasn't that bad. I was still fitter and stronger than most people. It was fucking bullshit. Just because I could, lift some weights and still had some strength didn't mean I was healthy. Didn't mean I was fit. Didn't mean I was strong. Didn't mean I was in a good position. Didn't mean I was a good fucking role model. No. They were fucking lies. And nobody lies better than the man who doesn't want to face his reality. So I had to get past that. And those first 6 weeks, god damn did that shit suck. And then it got a little bit better. But it took me months and months of commitment, of focus, of drive to even be a little bit proud of that man in the mirror. And look, that is probably harsh. I probably could have been a little bit kinder to myself. But on the flip side, I'd been too kind to myself for too long. That's how I'd ended up in that place. That life got the best of me and I was gentle and I was soft and I was kind and loving to myself. And that's how shit slips away. No, you need to be firm. You need to be harsh. You need to be your own critic as long as it forces you into action. As long as the criticism and the harsh truth with yourself and facing that reality head on forces you into action. If you're just abusing yourself and then using sedation, like junk food, like alcohol, like drugs, like TV, like doom scrolling, to make you feel better from the criticism, that is just not helping no one. You are just furthering that spiral down into a point that you aren't sure you'll bounce back from. So no, you need to be harsh and face the reality head on, but also in a manner that means that you will force yourself to take the action. Because what is it going to take? What is the point that will force you to make the change? Is it seeing the reality in the mirror? Is it, a question from your child? Or is it something more serious? Is it when you have a heart attack? Or when you go to do something with your kid and you blow your knee? Or you think you're still that fit and strong and you tear a muscle? Or you end up in hospital? Like, what is the point that you go, fuck, enough is enough? And not only enough is enough to do something now, but it's enough is enough to keep moving forward. Because I threw myself into the deep end and I started with my 126 to Greatness program. So it's 126 days without a single day off. Damn, I got some good results. But that wasn't enough. I can't then, be like, sweet, fucking nailed it. Let's cool our jets. Let's go back to what we were doing. Fuck no. I don't want to ever go back to that point. I don't ever want to go back to that height of hypocrisy. I don't want to ever see that in my daughter's eyes, that daddy couldn't do what she wanted. Or in my son's eyes, that daddy can't play with you today because daddy's out of shape. I don't ever want to fucking be in that point again. So I finished 126 and I rolled straight into another phase of it. I am currently at 220 plus days where I haven't missed a fucking beat. Because that's what is required. More than anything. It doesn't matter about the methodology that you use. Obviously, I have a theory and I have a belief system that I've used to personally take me from, fat and out of shape with boobs bigger than mum to shredded, in shape, feeling on top of the world, crushing it, and the momentum just builds and getting better every single day. I have a very distinct program that works for that. But more than anything, do you know what works? Fucking consistency. More than anything, what delivers the results is just doing it every single day. Is just showing up day in, day out, and just not quitting. The man who continues to show up, regardless of his feelings, regardless of what's going on in his life, regardless of what has transpired, for a long enough time period, will succeed, will achieve results beyond what anyone else can dream of. Because most of the time, it's not about talent, it's not about skill, it's not about what you were blessed with or gifted. It's about tenacity, it's about grit, it's about fortitude, it's about fucking continuing to show up long after people think you should have quit, long after you feel like you should have been rewarded. You just continue to show up. And if you do that, if you show up with full force, with clear eyes and a full heart and passion behind you, relentlessly, you will fucking succeed. And that's what I did. For 220 plus days, I have gone for a weighted walk with 10% of my body weight or more on my shoulders. I have lifted weights every single fucking day. What that workout looks like has changed as I've progressed through this, but I have lifted weights every day. I have eaten an animal-based diet, so all I have eaten is meat, eggs, fruit, a little bit of honey, sweet potato, for 220 plus days. I have drunk 4 liters of water, and I've taken a daily photo every single day. And I have achieved results far greater than I thought I ever would when I first started this. Far exceeding anything I thought possible. And I keep looking at it and going, I'm just getting fucking started. But it starts at that point. It starts with that catalyst, that moment of you go, enough is enough. And you activate that zero choice mentality of, I cannot be that man anymore. I cannot be that sad sack of shit that I was, that disappointed my daughter, that disappointed my son, that disappointed my wife. I cannot be that man anymore. No, I need to step the fuck up, that I need to own my shit, that I am going to show up with a zero choice mentality, that I am going to be a man that inspires them, that leads by example, that shows them what is humanly and physically possible if you do not quit, if you go all in every single day, no matter what, and you do not back down and you do not surrender, that you ignore your feelings and you do the fucking work because that is what is required. That man changes the world. That man changes his world and makes an impact on all those around him. And that is what's required. And that is who you need to be. That is the man you need to become. So what is your catalyst? What is the moment that's going to make you go, I cannot be this man anymore. I refuse to be that guy anymore. I am going to step forward. I am going to step into my power and become the guy who is going to make a change for my kids, for my wife, for my family, for my friends, for those I serve, for all those around me, but for me as well, so that I can look that man in the mirror and be like, fuck yes, I am proud of you. I am proud of the man you have become. You took the hard actions, you followed through, and you just kept showing up. So what is it going to take for you to be that guy? What is it going to take for you to step into that power? You have it within you. You just have to make a fucking decision. So if you're ready, if you are finally ready to be that man, if you are sick of seeing that man in the mirror, of disappointing those you love, shoot me a message. Let's get you into chasing greatness. Let's start that process now. Let's start you moving forward and becoming the man that you know you should be. Let's make it happen. Alternatively, if you're not quite there yet, you're still on the fence, you need some more convincing, click the link in my bio. Grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. Lastly, if you took value from this, if this inspired you to take that first step, please like, comment, subscribe, and send this to someone else who needs to be inspired. Send this to someone else who needs that wake-up call, like I had that wake-up call and like you're having that wake-up call, who's ready to transform their life. Because I'm here every single day, leading from the front, sharing my journey as I go through this process, as I tackle this thing, this whole new world, as I try and become the greatest version of myself. I'm here just leading by example and hoping to inspire you along the way. So I'll be back again tomorrow. Until then.